Hello everyone and welcome back to another Division 2 video. We continue to playing our Division series with this little Christmas or pre-Christmas extra. Again, as I said in my last videos, when I say a break, that does not necessarily mean there's not going to be anything. It just means I don't necessarily follow the upload schedule, and there's definitely going to be less videos. So today we are going to do 11th SS Panzergrenadier Nordland with another playing Division video, and this one is unfortunately another not so super good one. It has its issues, but you know, as we've said in quite a while ago, we're getting into playable territory here, and this is definitely one a division that is playable, but it is rough at times. It doesn't really have its place to shine, in my opinion, and just lacks depth in some crucial tabs. Nonetheless, it is functional. It has some nice units in there. It has a nice touch in general, which we're going to see. It has some unicorn units as well. It's just, yeah, again, it's kind of the depth, and it doesn't really do anything better than any other division out there, or most other divisions out there. So this is kind of where this sits at. So generally speaking, where is this actually good? So this is a division that, in my opinion, has a rough time finding its spot to be good at, because it don't really have enough tools for range. Also, the Panther is not the best Panther out there. Add to that, that, you know, you have little other tools that can really support this kind of play. Now, going into CQC is obviously not an option. This is not the kind of division that wants to go at CQC. And then that kind of leaves mid-range where, you know, you have Stücks, you have Stücks 4s, your S276 are actually quite nice at that range, and you have some other tools like the Stuka to Fuß. But then you don't really have the amount and kind of armor for the most part that you want with that. The SS76 is great for that, but it's very limited. So this is kind of where you sit at with this division. Of course, it's a German Panzergrenadier division, which means it's probably not a CQC division, but any other range is also kind of, it's just a little bit out of place. The main feature this has is doing air spam with the AR, which is really cool. It is the first division in Solution, not the only one by now, but it used to be the first one that got a jet plane, and it is still the only one that has a jet bomber. The other ones are just recon planes, the 716th and Kampfgruppe Walter. But it is not an air spam division because of that. There's better air spam divisions than this, so this is kind of where this division sits at. Yeah, that's basically what it is. The main weaknesses, in my opinion, are really the tank type is not really focused on one thing enough, or not deep enough. You know, the versatility that we have here would be okay, the mix of Panzers and Stücks, if there was just a bit more that you don't run out super quickly, because then you can actually go for armor plays, which here you kind of have to rely on the infantry. But looking at the infantry tab, this one is not super deep either. This is quite limited, so this makes it actually, and there is, you know, you have to use some MG26s, Panzergrenadier MG26s, which are okay, but they're not really all that good. So you quickly run out of good stuff there, so it's not really suited for infantry. Now, the icon says mechanized, and you have some mechanized elements in the recon tab, but it's not really enough to make this a mid-range division and make up for the lack of infantry in closer or mid-ranges, because those kind of maps are still, you need a good amount of infantry. So this division just, again, that is the main weakness, in my opinion, these two tabs. Other tabs are also problematic, but you could work around those. But these are, I think, the fact that both of these are limited makes this a fundamentally bad thing. Otherwise, it would not be nearly as bad. Of course, AT tab is quite limited. These tabs are very cheap, but you don't need as much. So this is kind of where we go with this. As far as the build is concerned, we start with the recon tab. So there's a unique unit to this division, which is the Schwedenzug. And it's actually quite good. We have 2 MG34s, 4 SVTs. Of course, more would be better, but you know, it's better than nothing. And we get some PPSHs. Now, of course, we get the whole thing for 25 points as well. So there's actually quite a good amount of firepower for 25 points, and we get an AT grenade on top of it. It's recon, it comes at force double that, which means availability unfortunately sucks. I really wish it was more. We can actually check, can we bring in an Opel Blitz? We can, and we should. I changed things around a little bit before starting to record, so it looks like I got some Opel Blitz now. But yeah, this is kind of where we sit at with this unit. It's actually quite nice. I would 100% take it. There's also not that many other things, in my opinion, that you really need for those 2 points that you would open up. That's kind of the issue. More points. There's more things I would want in here, or in here. But those are not the times where we have 2 points available. Or AT, that would also be a good one. So that's why I would 100% recommend taking it. Claire, we have some options here. We have this thing. Of course, we could just take him in that one, or we can take the SPW222. I would actually, let me check. No, 70 kilometers an hour is a good unit to take then. The HE is not all that good, but it can annoy your opponent. But it gives us a nice little AT option, an extra one that is fairly cheap. So against light armor, we should struggle less, because if you look at the AT tab light armor, we don't have a lot against that except for the SC76. Then there is all this armor that we can take, and in my opinion should take. The other option, if you don't want to take this one, because this one has quite a low ammo count, which makes me hate it a lot sometimes, until I notice that it's still quite useful to have it, and then I go back to taking it. But you could take another one of these with an SPW222. That would not be a bad call. You get more ammo with it. It is only slightly more expensive. The availability is lower though, so this is why I actually opt for this one for day. SPW231, and then the Puma, which in my opinion should be double that. This is not very good at fighting other light armor because of the damage and the rate of fire and all these kind of things. It's good for sniping things at the start though, and if we want to fight a tank or something like that, having the extra rate of fire is quite helpful, as well as the extra accuracy. So I rather generally take them double that, because at the end of the day, 2 more is nice to have, but the only thing it's going to do is it's going to lose us more points with little return. Whereas this actually gives some return, probably. That's why we'll go for that. Injury tab, not that many options here. We don't have enough Panzergrenadiers. We want to have 2 in A, 1 in B, and 1 in C. Do not take the Panzergrenadier MG26. And the reason why I take 1 in A phase is because it gives us a cheaper option for A phase. Simple as that. You could definitely take it in C phase as well. Again, a little bit cheaper, not too bad for Maverick, but I think this is still quite a step up. So there is that. So the reason why I don't take these in A phase is because I like the extra veil that we get in C phase. It will be the same in A phase, but I like to have a little bit more to go, potentially a bit longer if we need to. And also we have a mix of these, so we don't rely fully on those, but in some places they can do the job all right, especially if you have some armor to accompany them, and that's where I use those. I get some extra numbers in A phase, which I really like, and again, I get some cheaper options in A phase, which makes it a little bit easier in my opinion. Also note that we take the only one of the Panzerfaust in A phase, because this is usually, because there's just not that many things on the field yet, the most critical phase when it comes to getting overrun by armor. Of course, if your opponent is also playing Maverick, B phase is also a strong contender with that, but you have to make some choices there. Tank tab, not really all that many options. This is about all we can do. This is force in A phase to take it single that, because there's really just not enough. Unfortunately, availability of these just horrible, and it is not that good of a unit anymore these days. Still good against Western allies, but other than that, quite bad. Stück 3. Would take it. I kind of would want to have it single that, but double that is just so much better. Panther D's, not great. I'd rather have Panther A's because of the extra armor, but we have to take them. But what we can do here is at least take them double that to make sure that they should win fights by penning first and hitting first. So, well, the penning we can't affect, but that they can, you know, fire faster and generally hit first. So that's the best we can do. We also get extra availability, which we don't necessarily need, so I'd rather have them double that. Support tab, not that many options here. A B-phase machine gun would be really nice, but I just find it hard to fit in. We have another special unit in here, which I'm not sure if it's in another division or not. If it is in other divisions, it's really just 1 or 2, which is a Stuka zu Fuß. Now, this is basically a Wolfram. The only difference here is you, first of all, get only 1 set of shells, which kind of sucks, so you can only use it once before you have to bring ammo. But also, these are actually flame napalm ammo and not the regular explosive ones that the Wolfram has. Still, this thing is actually fantastic. It does a great job, similar to the Wolfram. It has a gun, but you don't really want to use it like that unless you're super desperate, and I don't have any ammo anyways. I guess we can say it can at least defend itself a little bit, but that's about as far as I as far as I would go with it. But yeah, there's just no room for extra machine guns, which is what I would really like to do. It's E-tab. Some options, but we can't really fit them all in. So we definitely need something with a little bit of pen considering our limited actual tanks, which is why we take the pack 40. I would really wish we didn't have to do that because this thing is super good. It basically has the same ammo like a mortar, but it has radio and you can use it as an AT gun. So this I really like. It's 40 points only. Availability is not great, but that is what it is. But you know, it is good against medium tanks. In closer ranges, and you can also use it to support your infantry where needed. This thing would also be nice to have some little light AT, but we just really cannot fit it in. And this thing at least can roll with some mediums quite nicely, can uptrade quite nicely, so this we want to take. I would love to double vet it like we would do in the Soviet divisions, and I think even Viking can do that, but in this division the availability is just too bad, so we're going to go with 3 at single vet. And this is what it is. Panzergrenadier is not optional, so we have to take in. We can't fit anything else in here, unfortunately. I really wish we could, but we really can't. Over here as well, I would love to put the SDK-71 in B phase because it's just very expensive for A phase. Unfortunately, we cannot do that. It has to come in A phase, and then we have this in B phase at double vet. It's not a Flak 43, but a double vet are at least okay-ish. And then I bring in 88 to have some more ranged options because this division really actually doesn't have all that much in that regard. Also, what would be an option is this. It is not too bad, but the problem is you can't double vet it, at which point I think it would actually become serviceable. It is an okay option because this thing is quite expensive for this purpose, but you can use it to actually fight infantry and it shreds. So it's similar to, you know, if you have seen the, what are they called, Marder? Not Marder, sorry, the Gepard. This does basically the same, just a little bit less good because it is only single vet. The problem is AA is just not as good. It's really not comparable to even just a Flak 36, even though you pay the same. And because of that, I'd rather have the SDK-71 because it actually protects us. However, if you're afraid that this is too expensive for you and you really cannot afford, and you need some affordable AA, I would personally consider going for this option. That's that. Artillery tab, not that many options over here either. We don't have an off map, which would have been useful. So basically this thing is useless. You can use it as kind of a pocket off map to your mini off map that you can pull out and off map a small little area. It will pin if you don't use it from too far away, and then it can be useful in like forest patches to pin something and to move in and surrender things. But this is about as far as it goes, where as far as the usefulness of this is concerned. So I personally would not spend a slot on it. Also, you need to resupply it. So if you want to take it in A phase, then you need to have ammo in A phase. Otherwise, it's basically useless. And by B phase, I really think you shouldn't take this. So SK-18 and the 150 for me, you could even go with no 150. But then again, the question is again, where do we use these 2 points? And I find having more than just 2 SK-18s quite a nice thing to have. So there we go. This is how I would do it. And yeah, not really on anything else. If you want to have more 2 KHE, you can use this as 2 KHE. It is okay. It's not great, but it is a nice substitution for a Guerrilla or an IG-18, IG-33. These, unless they're radio, I've started to also not become a huge fan of non-radio mortars, unless it's 60 mils. So I personally pass on them. You can take them though if you really want to. But if you're, this is not super arty heavy and I don't like using them for my infantry, so we don't take them. And then the air trap, this is another thing where this division actually has a phenomenal air trap. The problem is it kinda, in my opinion, doesn't really work very well together. So both these planes here are really good for what they do. The reason is because they're relatively cheap, they have good loadouts for their price, and they will force your opponent to buy AA, and he will end up paying more on his AA than you on this plane. 2 of those will actually do a pretty good job. These are phenomenal. You can bring one of them and your opponent has to react to it because it will do damage, or you can bring more of them if he doesn't react to it, punishing even more. All phenomenal options. The problem is, if you actually want to use these, you don't want to force your opponent too early to actually buy AA by spending money on an JU-87 or a GO. Because then you bring those out relatively early on in the game, usually, and your opponent is forced to buy AA. And then you want to bring these guys, now there's AA. So this is not quite that. The opponent, seeing this division, will probably know that you're going to do some outplays anyway and buy AA. So it's unlikely that they you know, can actually have this effect here. But if your opponent doesn't and you bring them, you will definitely force that effect. So in my opinion, it's better than not to take them. Also, the air time is quite limited. I would actually love to do one of these and one of these, but I ultimately decided that it's better to just go all the way in one direction, either go only with these or only with these. A mix, in my opinion, doesn't really go very well. This is actually quite a nice strafe for 2. You can even head on some planes and do massive damage. So it's actually quite funny. But would I sacrifice one of those precious slots? Not really. Considering the expensive AA and A phase, I would actually like to have a fighter 2, especially since my opponent might actually bring one to shoot these down. So that's why I bring one in this division. And with that, I think it's time to go to the game and see what this actually ends up doing. Okay, so that is probably not the most ideal map for us. Also not in this matchup. Now, it could be worse. It could be way worse. This is not a tank division. So that means, you know, we're at least fighting tanks and not fighting an infantry division, which would be quite strong here. But that unfortunately means we still have an opponent with more infantry available, better CQC, and I think the better tanks for this because he actually has Panzer IIIs. Recon ones and normal ones, and he has a Stück M42. I'm not sure if he took it, but it is in the division. And I think that should actually be quite formidable over here. The good news is his division doesn't really have good AA. It has enough though, so we still have to be careful, but at least we might have a chance with this. Other than that... Okay, actually, one good thing is the Stuttgart is quite useful on this map. Because you can put it like somewhere over here and you can see what we can reach. We'll be fighting mostly over here and then in this area. And both of these are generally reachable with the Stuttgart zu Fuß. So, and from safe positions too. That means we can get very close and get good small spreads with massive damage. So, first things first, we need to decide what we want to do. Now, naturally, I want to attack these 3 flags. And I think we're just gonna not contest that one too much. This is generally speaking how I'd go about it if you're on the red side. Now, if you know that you can easily get pushed out of this and then you cannot get back in. This is when, in my opinion, it would be better to try and contest that over there. But... I think one of these will do, and then maybe a Schwedenzug, because the SVT is quite nice there. I still bring Flamers just to make sure that I'm not easily getting pushed off here, if he rushes in with Flamer himself. We're going to bring one of these in case we need some close range fire support, but I don't want to expose myself yet in case he has a T-gun. So this is just going to sit there in the back, and then if we end up needing it, we can bring it out and use it. For the open, it doesn't have fast light armor, so I don't have to be concerned too much about a rush, because you can try to rush this. So, since this is not something I need to deal with, I can just put machine gun. This is just the best spot still. Yeah, this is easily the best spot. And we try and... What we can try to do is do this, and we can actually try to do some sniping over here by bringing this guy over here. It's just the line of sight is just these 2 towers there are really just super annoying. If it weren't for those, it would actually be quite good. What we could try to do though, trying to find a way to use those, is we can send it over here, and it might be able to snipe, you know, if it wants to unload an AT gun over here, it can snipe that potentially. Let's see if it's actually work. If it actually works. I've never actually tried that. Over here we can definitely use it defensively. We just send it like right in here. There we go. Same thing over here. Just trying to snipe things. So don't go too deep, because then he can actually, you know, if he covers that off with a T, he can probably hurt this quite a bit and kill it easily, which you don't want. So we have a little bit of defensive over here. We have just something in here, and the main force is going to go over there. The one thing that we also want to have here is the Aufklärt. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to send it in here, and then we're going to go through there. It's not fast enough that I want it looping around and get into the church tower from the front side. It might get sniped, so we do it that way. And that means we're going to keep our Aufklärt in the church tower where it's best used. We're also going to bring one over here. Actually, that means we don't necessarily need this. If it pushes with light armor, this should hopefully be able to do the job as well. And then we have some recon over here. Good. Job done. And yeah, so we need some flamers. And I think this is where the Schwedenzug is going to come in handy, together with a pioneer. And bring those, oops, in there. This is not what we wanted. That would be really problematic. Okay, what we're also going to bring is these guys. Because then we're going to bring them over here. And then in there. And this is where they can do their fighting. Hopefully deal with those Panzer IIIs. And then main push is going to be in there. This is pretty usual. He will know that is going to happen. He can actually put the Stoßdruckberetta in here and then make it very difficult for me, so I have to be ready for that. Which is why we're going to send some pioneers and the last remaining Schwedenzug in here, so that we can push through that, clear that out. That gives us some room for our SPWs and SDK set. I'm bringing one SPW for the speed and then one SDK set just to follow up because it's a little bit cheaper. Another one over here. And then another, yeah, this is where these are actually quite okay, because, you know, at those closer ranges, we might be able to move them in positions where they use the machine guns, so this is where having this sort of an actual Panzergrenadier is something that I really don't mind. I would love to have a leader, but I just can't fit it in. This is not the best deployment at all. We don't have enough points left for this to buy it right away, but that's alright. You can do it. Actually, let's bring proper AT in here, because we might actually encounter a tank here early on, so it's probably the better choice there. Okay, ready? Good luck, have fun. But yeah, so as I was going to say, having some of these lighter armor that is a little bit slower and a little bit cheaper can sometimes be nice. We don't need that much for rushing here. My main concern here is really that I'm going to get pushed out by the Stoßdruckberetta, but I don't have the amount of CQC to really fight that. Yeah, so I'm making this as a little distraction push, and then I'm mostly holding at the start, see what he does, and then I decide where to push. I think I don't need to rush this in A phase, which it's generally nice if you can set yourself up nicely with your Maverick income. But in my opinion, it's just usually, so with the tools we have, especially with this, which is going to help us tremendously pushing, I think it would be better for us to be defensive first and then push and be properly, hopefully having outtraded him by that point. We can also start using our Air Force early on if we need to, and if it comes in handy. And again, as I said, this is now remembered what I actually officially was talking about. These guys here are quite useful in these kind of areas here, because they can beat a regular Panzergrenadier just because of the fact that this thing, the MG26, fires, because it's an automatic rifle, at 100 meter range, so you can actually close distance, you can do some building hopping here. It happens quite often, so having that flexibility is useful. At the moment, nothing is coming super fast in here, so I don't mind pushing forward. It's a Panzer III, so that's okay. The Stück is what I'm really afraid of to face with the Puma. Oh, okay. We do have early AA in there. Okay, so I want to fall back with that, but that's not going to happen then. Alright.
Überprüft Waffen und Munition. Hier haben wir Niedergebiet.
You can move over here, and you can start pushing. You have to be very careful. If you do it like a little bit over there, the things are gonna take the wrong route. It sucks, but it is what it is. Oh, this got killed off by something. Okay, and I think I should get some recon in there. And you guys can chill here. You're not really meant with that order. Need to fool him back. Okay, there's a Sturm Pioneer in there. Another thing that I do want to do, put one over here because that prevents him from moving any bazookas in there, which you can definitely do on this map. Something we need to be aware of. Okay, so if you're going to take it slow, we're going to bring this early on, start hammering him, and we should bring a early on as well to cover it off. He does have a scary air force, so... Okay, smoke that off. Not going to win that fight. If those arrive, we can win that fight, though. Okay, he's going for some pushes over there. This is now where having a Puma would be quite useful. As you got one pen on the Panzer free. Kind of hoping that we might stress it out, but that doesn't work by the looks of it. It still hit 2 shots. Wow, okay. We smoked that off. What I'm losing this. Because it's bringing proper Panzergranads. But this is now where we're gonna do this. And then we can fall back. Alright. Good. Let's push this. Oh, we can chase that. We can put that in there. It makes it hard for him to move. Oh, I don't want to get that close. Oh, that thing died. There's a pack 40 over there still. Forgot about that. We're going to bring the EA now. He might bring a fighter, and also we don't want to allow him to bomb this. Let's disengage here. This has range. Alright, where are you shooting from, good friend? That could be a mortar half-track though, so that could make it difficult. It's over there, okay. Okay, we got that. Oh, yeah, I wanted to fall you back. Okay, you can push this. And then we go into the back lines over there. Yeah, I think we're just going to start the Audi party properly now. And let's get a Panzergrenadier in here. The Schwedenzug in there as well. And we can't really get an angle. Oh no, it's 2K HE one, so we should be safe for the moment. We have a clash of these two. Pretty much same. Just focus on that one, please. Yeah, that is not a good... Oh. Please kill that, if you can. And then we're gonna rush into these guys. The one good thing about his division is he doesn't have a ton... No! Jeez. This is annoying. It's in radio range, so I actually don't mind going after it with these. Oh, that's the SU over there. Yep.
Der ist hinüber.
Good. He got too close. Got that dead. That's good.
Fahrzeug einsatzbereit. Försiktigt nu. Fienden är nära.
Let's shift him over here and see what we can do with him. So one thing is clear, he's not a noob. Like he knows what he's doing. Also a nice position to hit on those guys while they're going. I have to do it that way. If I call them in right there, they're gonna go through here and then they're gonna die. Okay, okay, okay. That's good. Getting some kills here. This over here is not so good. Okay, we took that out too.
Lanzer zur Stelle.
Lost, oh, this flag. Oh my. Not ideal.
Mehr Feuerkraft gefällig?
Just go after whatever is over here. So yeah, the one good thing about this division is... Oh, he used a ground attack trick. He's that kind of guy. Interesting. Are we gonna get into range of it? Yeah, we're gonna. Just not what I want.
Wir nähern uns dem Feind, Herr Kommandant. Wie lauten Ihre Befehle?
Move fast. You guys move fast as well, and then get in.
Ziel zerstört.
But yeah, he doesn't have a lot of units with actual AT on them, which means we can abuse this a little bit. And we can try to find some
Überprüft Waffen und
cheeky
Munition.
flanking maneuvers over there. Oh, he's shooting at that.
Ja, Hauptmann. Das Teil ist verdammt schwer. Verdammt, es hat mich erwischt.
We're gonna bring one of these in here just so that he
Jawohl, Kommandant. Vorwärts, Männer. Aber
cannot lose this. And I think here we can just Q move now.
Können nicht mehr.
Ruhe. Herhören. Ja, Hauptmann. Wir müssen hier raus.
Oh, he brings those. Interesting.
Jawohl. Bereit, Herr Kommandant.
Okay, now we got it on this side because it has two things that were attacking it. Oh, this thing is still here, is it?
Der Ton kommt von oben. Bereit, Herr Hauptmann.
Okay. Having enough of this, we're gonna bring a Panzer now.
Ja, Hauptmann. Lass mich raus! Ich will nach Hause! Lass mich gehen!
Okay, we're gonna retreat you because things are coming that are not so good. It's planning another push over there. Gonna have these here waiting in the back line. And we're gonna bring a Panther just to deal with that 2 KHE thing. Just really annoying.
Auf alles, was sich bewegt.
Might actually be able to win this. Yep. We're just not gonna pan it by the looks of it. In theory, we should eventually be able to pen it.
Bereit, Herr Hauptmann.
In praxis, that doesn't seem to be the case, really.
Ah, es hat mich erwischt!
Auf der Suche nach Beute.
Überprüft Waffen und Munition.
Killing the leader is good, because the AA is next there to do too, probably. So we're gonna take out some AA.
Achtung, der Feind ist in der Nähe.
Because we've reached B phase, which means we can now bring the Stuka zu Fuß. And we are gonna also bring one of these in.
Überprüft Waffen und Munition. Wir nähern uns dem Feind, Herr Kommandant.
This is where we get line of sight on it.
Bitte, nicht schießen.
Okay.
Die Gruppe erwartet Ihre Befehle.
probably get a Panzergrenadier because it's not gonna be long until he eventually brings a tank over there. 677 on here quite close.
Warten auf Feuerkoordinaten.
Very grouped up, so it's very easy to get some value over there out of something. Which I'm always a fan of. Okay, so that's all our efficient armor gone, which is a big problem.
Wir sind getroffen.
Because his Panzerfools and support Panzerfools are really going to shred us now. But this is what I meant with this division really is not meant for the mid-ranges. Like, it just isn't. Doesn't have what you need for those ranges. Now, you might be able to do some damage with these though. If you have enough of those. But there. Oh, big artillery is coming in. I'm gonna focus that down then.
Wir sind hier ein leichtes Ziel.
Ihre Befehle, Kommandant?
Okay, we're gonna go after you first. Put it on return fire so that it only fires when I release. Because he might move them since it's tanks after all. And if that happens, I'm in trouble. So, want to make sure that I'm actually gonna get value out of it. Oh, this is not good. I push him out a little bit too far. Luckily it's bouncing. But we can get it like back here. And then he should not really be able to do anything about that. Okay, it has finished aiming. We are then going to move over here. Which is where the ammo is going to be.
Falls der Tank getroffen wird, sind wir hinüber.
And we're going to bring another one over here, I reckon. Yeah, it is not quite the same as an actual thing, the real thing, you know.
Mann in die Hand.
We tried.
Haben Sie Zielkoordinaten, Hauptmann?
I kind of hope that this maneuver here, this is just pure coincidence that it ended up in an actual flanking maneuver. And I'm kind of hoping that I can still pull it off. Doesn't look like it though. It's really hard to play around this with the armor that we have, I have to say. Because again, as I said, it's just... This is not the kind of armor that is meant for those kind of maps. Okay, so I remembered them from the 1 or 2 times I've used this unit. It definitely felt better then, so I guess it is not... It's not all that good. We still can't advance because of this annoying thing over there, so I might have to do this. That could work though, I reckon. But is a Panzer free? Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is very unfortunate. These are not units that have AT. And he surrendered it. Oh, that is so rough. Okay, we try this. And we have to... do we really have to bring in a bomber just to deal with that? It looks like it. We're gonna bring another one. Bomb out whatever is in there. We're gonna have to bring in some infantry, which we're gonna run out of eventually. He's gonna have more. His infantry tab is quite deep. 16th Panzer is a good division when it comes to amounts of infantry. Okay, his AA is quite far back there, so that's good news for us. And he has not yet bought a proper AA piece over here. That is not an 88. And hopefully this is going to erase not just that one unit over there. There should be more in there. Okay, this is more pressing now. As you guess, that one is dead, which is good. We forced him to react. We put that on return fire and we're going to have to bring in our Stuggy Boogies. No, he's moving the half-track away. Don't do that. I mean, he's doing it exactly right. It's just, and of course my Panzergrenadier died. Yeah! This is really rough. I mean, this is... Yeah, now the Marder comes in, so now my Panzer IV. It took out this unit over there, but I can't really... this is so annoying. I'm actually wondering if I should just push that out, because he can one-tap it at least now. But yeah, we have to... Oh, yeah. You can take that fight. Good. Yeah. Oh, that was the wrong command. Okay, we can't do that. We have to go after this then. And the Stuka... Oh, it needs to be reloaded. I forgot about that. This is annoying. And rough too. The problem is we have to go very infantry heavy over here. It's not really an alternative to this. It's just that if we go infantry heavy, we're still screwed. So, not really sure how to play this, to be honest. This is... Oh. The attack... Ground attack move. It got it off, right? It did? No, it didn't. No, it did. But he moved past it. Which is the right way of doing this. And he has more artillery out to countermine. We have to do this again. We can release this. Actually quite fast. So this is quite more responsive, if you like, than the Dwarf Bomb. That one is super slow. But yeah, it's... Don't really know how to play this, to be honest. Having some artillery was about the only thing we really had going for us. And that is basically gone now. We have more coming here, which is good. These were waiting over here, forgot about that. We sent one here and one here. But yeah, I mean... This is basically a nightmare scenario for us, because it doesn't really matter what range we're at. Unless we can really kill him with... Oh, did that go down? It did. So that means... It's actually pushing me back now by taking... Oh, this flag again. Did he now? Okay, we're gonna have to deal with that. No, we can't push there yet because of the pack. Okay, I might get a kill here. It's still not a good kill because the Marder costs about half as much as my Stück, which is still dead. Got that done. Alright. Yeah, there's so much armor and this division just, it can't handle it. At least not to the extent. There's just nothing I can do here. Because there we go. Now that is dead. His armor is also way more efficient at this range. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Let's see, these are already a big problem. And I don't have a good answer because my light armor that I've already used up is... I don't know why you are not shooting, but this is what I would like you to shoot at, please. But yeah, I mean, the problem is the only light armor that I have, that can help us with the infantry problem. It gets countered by his actual medium armor. So there's just not that much I can do. I can get another angle here on the Marder, maybe. Oh, and now you get flanked here by just a half track. Okay, what he can probably do here is just kill that thing off with... Oh, also we can do this. We still have those guys. Actually go after that, please. Oh, it was not enough to spot it by the looks of it. Okay, this thing is very low, so we should be able, with a burst of flame, so now he's moving. Stop moving! And now he's pinned. I mean... We can force that off, maybe. But yeah, this is not going to be an easy one. Problem is, it's more to do a lot of damage, and I don't have any of those. Okay, please kill him. Please kill him. Okay, it looks like we are actually going to be able to break through here. Let's cut him off. Or we can do something about it. Oh no, he killed it? That easily? Ah, well, the Stoßtrupperet are true menaces. I think I have to go desperate here and just use it this aggressively. Not really many alternatives here. And now push that forward. But yeah, he also has more CQC. That complicates things further. Oh no. Oh no, this thing is still alive. Okay, the Stuttgart zu Fuß is... I somehow remembered it being decent, but turns out this thing is really bad. But I probably also need to use it at closer range as the end. Okay, okay. I kind of don't know what to do at this point. I gotta be honest here. There's not that many options. I got a flag, and I have gotten a flag earlier, but I just can't get through key positions. I thought I told you to move, which did, but that's alright. Let's resupply him. I should have probably also moved him. Now here's a good thing. The guerrilla we can deal with, but he's already moving things again, so gonna be that easy. But yeah, as long as we can't kill his artillery, he can be super annoying here. Yeah, like this, for example. He can just pin our infantry and then... Oh, yeah. And these do not even have AT, which means I can't... Like, if he moves through with those, I'm not going to do much. I need a Panzergrenadier in here. But it's basically impossible to ever get a 15-9. The fact that my infantry kind of sucks is not making it better, really. Yeah, let's bring him over here, and then we have to go through the town, which I don't really like to do, but I don't really see an alternative to it at the moment. Okay, we can now push in here. 12 as he's doing a big push in here now. I need to smoke yourselves off here. Now here's the good thing. This is one thing we can actually deal with. Stupidly enough, we can deal with those. Okay, the problem is the next problem is there's gonna be some sort of armor over there, and immediately I'm blocked again. But you know, we have a tick. We could bring it to a single tick if you have something over here, so that half track probably just moved in there. Oh, he's now using the artillery for the right target. We have to move this over here. This is gonna have to do it. Okay, so we're making progress. We're finally making progress. I'm gonna go in aggressive. It's kind of the only thing I can do at this point. And then we have to go after this with the Stuttgart zu Fuß. I need to win against this Stoßtrupperet. That's crucially. I need to kill this half track here. Alright. Kill that off. It's kind of sad that I have to use a Panzergrenadier to do that. I just don't have anything better. It's really sad, but there we go. Big is coming in. Got the 15-9. The recon plane we can force off. You have to move now. There's probably going to be something over there. Okay, we got the 15-9, but can we hold it? It's an entirely different question. I'm not so sure I want to know the answer. Oh, my Stück did die over there. This is very risky, but I kind of feel like I have to do it. This thing is still alive. It must be moving constantly. Oh, that's... okay. It is where now having some light AT over here would actually be useful, but we can't afford light AT over there. We have another half-track pulling us. Jeez, Louise. This is annoying as fuck. Oh, we have to go this way. Okay, dodge the Sagittario. Killed the half-track. This also died, but that's alright. 59, here we go again. I'm not sure why you are not shooting, because it is obviously there. You only have a driver knocked out, not a shooter knocked out. Oh, he can't angle. Heh. That is what it is. And it died. Yeah. Luck is also not really on our side today, eh? Yeah, he's not gonna get destroyed Pioneer. There goes my 59. And not really sure what to do here. We've got that pin though, which is good. Oh, this I like. Come to Papa. Come here. It's in a more defensive position. Huzzah! Down he goes. Good. Yeah, and immediately gets bullied again by whatever is there. We need to turn off the APCR if this needs to fire. We're kind of screwed. Okay, we get an angle here. Oh. If there's any infantry that I'm so cooked. No, don't turn after it. This is... I get bullied again by these half-tracks. And now we only have Panthers. Yeah, I think at this point we call in the GGs. There's just nothing we can do here. You can't outtrade your opponent to... If he's not stupid, you can't outtrade your opponent to the point where you can compensate not having the light armor, or the kind of... Well, it's medium armor more, but you know, something like a Marder, something like a Panzer III. Those ranges are just super cost efficient. And you can also not outtrade more infantry, more CQC infantry on an infantry heavy map with what we have. It's also better infantry, too. So, like, it's not for the lack of trying, but those are the only thing I had to really put in his way. And, yeah. I mean, he is good. You're getting a lot of victories, so I don't feel as bad, but still, not much we could have done here. I feel like in terms of skills, I could have done it with better divisions, but this division, I think we could nicely see the issues. I mean, just look at how fast I run out of Stücks. Since that was kind of the only answer that I have. But yeah, I mean, once again, I mean, look at another issue that we had is you could just look at the situations like the Pumas, for example. We had a Puma versus a Panzer III. The Panzer III one-shots the Puma, right? Puma cannot one-shot the Panzer III. No, sorry, my bad. The Panzer III needs 2 shots still because it doesn't do 8 damage. But the Puma needs 2 hits. And it can struggle, as we've seen, penning the Panzer III. The other way around doesn't really work like that. Yet, because of the speed, the Puma is more expensive. It's 10 points more expensive, even at double vet. So those kind of engagements are just not what you want. It's a good transport sniping tool. We have to use it here. It's not like we had a choice, because the matchup versus Stück would not really have been all that much better, because the Panzer III just has the APCR at this range, and it will pen that. Will pen that Stück, much like the Marder did, really. So yeah, it just is what it is. Not really much we can do. I didn't really use those to full effect, I admit that. I could have probably used them more strategically. But the problem is they're only, like, those are super good if you use them, or if your opponent groups up in an area, which there were some cases where I think I put them to good use. But there's plenty of cases where that doesn't really work to the extent you want. I do have to say, in my memory, the Stuhlkatze was better than it was. It's definitely a unit that I would probably just put out here. Remove. I think in tournaments it has its use. There's going to be division matchups where you're not really going to play this in tournament. But there was a tournament, for example, just this month actually, where we had the matchups were given. And one matchup was Task Force 45 versus this division. And funny enough, this is where this was actually quite useful, because the opponent had all crap in his hand in A phase, right? And on top of that, it was on Slutsk East, so that means there are some key areas where this acting kind of a mini off map is incredibly useful. But in a map like this, where there's so many places he can put his infantry, not all that much. Wolfram would have been a different story. Wolfram would have killed quite quickly. But yeah. Also, I think what I noticed that I felt like, having some SK-10s is okay, but really, they're not having a radio mortar really hurts you quite a lot. Because I think you noticed, right, my opponent had a radio mortar. I tried to kill it, which was a stupid idea, but he can move that, and then he can continue to work. My SK-10s, on the other hand, if my opponent does counter battery, I cannot just move them and continue on going after other targets. I need to eliminate that threat. So this is where having a radio mortar, because a radio mortar in a half track, you can move that around. And your opponent tries to go after it, you move around, you queue up a salvo, and queue up a move. And then you basically stay safe, and you can just ignore the counter battery. You can't really afford to do that with the SK-10s. And I really needed that artillery to move in there, because again, the armor and the infantry didn't really make it give me an easy time doing that. So, yeah. All in all, it's just a rough division. This was a really bad map, and while it's not the worst matchup for that map, it is a pretty bad matchup for that map. Now, if you imagine the other thing, I think, yeah, we could see that it wouldn't be better at the long-range map. As far as the game went, I think I focused too much on holding the left flank. I should have probably just given that up and really focused on the center. But the problem is with the armor that he had, even there, I struggled pushing. One option that I didn't really put enough thought in and occurred to me kind of towards the end where it was already way too late is I think a push in the center could have been a useful thing. It's not something that 26 Panzer can't match though. So they do have better Panzers too, making it a non-optimal move, but at least it would have given me a little bit of breathing room, because that was something where at least he couldn't easily overwhelm me. He didn't really have the armor to do that. But you have to, the problem is he kind of has to come with a push in the town as well, because otherwise you're just going to get a side shotted, and that is not really all that useful. So, yeah. I mean, we're going to see how much value those Panzer III gives. I definitely used the light armor pretty badly. I was kind of hoping that my blopped up 20 mils could do something against those Panzer IIIs and whatnot, but they just didn't. I think against the Martyrs it would have actually been useful because those are a little bit less armored, but we didn't get a chance to find that out. Well, I killed one of them. So I did kill one of them. And the ARs did work. There's no denying that. Oh yeah, true that. That was the one on the left. Yeah, look at the kills. They already good work. I mean, they have really good bomb loadouts, and they got in and got out. We've seen that even with a little bit of AA there. An 88 has a hard time stopping it unless it's close enough to what you want to bomb. So that was a nice thing there. Really enjoyed that part. The rest of it, not so much. Yes, 76, of course, did phenomenally as well until it died, fortunately. These, again, they did good job. The problem is just even a half-track, with the lack of light of AT on your infantry, half-tracks could bully you so easily. There was just nothing we could do against those. And they just overwhelmed me too. SK-10 did something. The Panzer D actually did good work. I didn't even notice this. Or did I just misremember? No, don't think I noticed that. I also don't think I noticed that one. Maybe I should have paid more attention to such a key unit. But anyway. And Sugartooth did do some work. I mean, okay. I mean, he killed the SK-10 one. So, but whether that was a lucky or not remains, I think, is questionable. Stuka zu Fuß, this one, the second one, really did not do all that much. I'm not really impressed by that one. Oh, that was a nice kill. Yeah. STK set 250/10 was nice. It did do some killing, so no complaints over there. And the Stück did do some work as well. But yeah, that is about it, unfortunately. Oh, we got this. Oh, that was my Stück to push in the town. Did they trade? Because the Stück died afterwards. The Pack 40 got a lot of kills. Yeah, I put them in the stupid positions. That was 100% on me, and that could have been useful later on. I should have bombed that at the start, maybe. Well, I kind of had to go after the infantry. It was just rough. spot to be in. Yeah, Panzer III going ham, not a Panzer III doing well. This thing, I was mad about this. It should have already been damaged, yet he still managed to kill that one too. Was not happy about that. This thing, yeah, was nicely positioned. I mean, again, he did a good job. Yeah, the 81 mortar really was doing a ton of damage. Not a Panzer. Yeah, look, this is the problem, right? These are exactly the kind of tanks you want to have on this map and at these ranges. Not Stück. Stücks are even worse because they don't have a turret. Right, so Stück is about the worst thing you can have on this map, unless you're shooting along, you know, the road. Because you can't turn. It easily gets up-traded to by these guys. Yeah. Oh, and the SK-18 killed my SK-7 in the end. Didn't even notice. I think that was when I was basically surrendering already. It's crazy because I moved it. Anyway, that was that. A rough game, but you know, these do exist. At least it's good for the series if, you know, there's sometimes some losses, because that at least reflects the true you know, struggles of those divisions. Because so far I've gotten away with a lot of wins because there was just a good skill difference in those games. And here there may or may not have been one. I think we'll never know, but certainly it was not to the extent that the matchup didn't really matter. So we've moved back to the deck, and I think we can fully confirm that the initial thoughts on this division were pretty much spot on. It really just struggles kind of everywhere and against a lot of other division. I think this was a perfect example. 2060 is in many ways what this division is, just better. You don't have light armor, of course, but you have more infantry and better infantry. Your mix of armor is better at range and at mid-range and close range. Fun enough, you have, you know, your A of course suffers, but that didn't really decide this game enough. Artillery is just good enough. All these kind of things, they just add up to this division feeling very meh overall. And we've clearly seen that, especially on those mid to close range maps, we just don't have enough trading potential. This division on those kind of maps can really only work against other divisions that do not have armor that can bully you and also take out your light armor. If your opponent doesn't have light armor, or his light armor is kind of the same what you have, then it's okay, but you're still not in a good spot. And for range, we didn't see this in this game, but having those U Panther Ds really is not the best spot to be in either. So yeah, this division is just, it's another one of those. It doesn't really know what it wants to do. It has some tools for close range. It does have some tools for long range. It's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, and it really, generally speaking, it's still a division that is not a good thing. For the queue, of course, it is useful because you don't know what map you end on. But, you know, there are these divisions which are kind of jack of all trades and almost master of one or all of those things. And those are the ones that are actually good for the queue. Those are the ones that you can take on any map and you perform reasonably with. This is not one of those. This is really far from being a master at any of the things it tries to do. And that just makes it really rough to play. The unicorn units it has are okay, but nothing phenomenal. If you really like to have air spams and big airstrikes, the AR is really a fun plane. There's no denying that. But the rest of it, you know, you don't have enough of your fins, which could really carry you, in my opinion, in this game. And the Stuttgart-Fuß is a little bit of a letdown, unfortunately. So this is kind of where we're at with this division. And it would need, I think, a lot of things to actually get good. This is not one of those divisions where if you had some more cheaper activation, cheaper slot costing, it would solve a lot of the issues because you can, you know, use all the add all the things you would need. This division lacks depth in some areas, or at least when it comes to certain tools, and you can't just compensate that. It would certainly help if it had a more generous, like larger and cheaper AT tab, and maybe some cheaper slots still, because then you could take at least these guys, which this would help you tremendously. This division, I think you really need some cheap multi-purpose tools that are actually good, because you have some cheap options like the MG26, but it's also quite bad. And the rest of your units are all expensive, as German units, generally speaking, are, and that is a big issue. So having something cheap that like this that can act as AT and also as artillery for your infantry support, I think that would help tremendously. But I just feel like you can't for the queue. I find it hard to not take this. I think I'm gonna give it a try, but I'm probably gonna regret this, honestly. And I think this would actually be quite useful. I think this would have been a very good answer to some of those tanks. They were always in the same kind of spot, so you could actually cover off these areas with a 45mm, and it would do good work. But you just can't really fit it in. I think this is too good to pass on it. This is a must-have. Without it, you're going to suffer even more against light armor. Like the 45mm is not going to compensate that. You need at least something with pen for medium tanks. So taking the 45mm over this is not an option at all. But yeah, so this would help. You still wouldn't have solved the infantry problem, but now you can at least support it a little bit. Stuka zu Fuß, as I think in other games and better used in a better way, I think it's actually useful. I try to use it like a Warframe, which it is not. But I think you should look at it more like one of these guys. You use it to pin an area, then you move in, and it has the bonus on top that it actually does a little bit of damage. Like it's not doing nothing. We've seen this. It did some killing, just not as much as you'd hope. So leaving it in here, I think, is good, but you have to use this kind of like your mortar. And you have to use it very strategic, not to kill things, but to push and then surrender. Yeah, I think that is where... So that is kind of my thoughts on Division and what I would change. I think I don't think we really need to change anything. This thing... it's debatable whether you want to switch this out for an SPW 222. I actually quite like this, as I'm going to keeping it in. But I would definitely understand if you want to take the SPW 222. I do believe you need all of this, especially now that we've seen how our infantry performed. Oh, one thing that would actually change is this. I hate to do this. Because it means in C phase you're going to be really in trouble. But look, we've seen how bad those were, even when it just came to holding things. Now, with this division, because of the lack of depth, you need to win relatively fast. So it is just not an option to have those in A phase to stall. You need them in C phase to stall and hope for the best. It was really nice to have something cheaper than a Panzergrenadier, but I do believe we need the Panzergrenadier MG34. I don't think this is going to cut it even just remotely. So we have to go with the MG34, unfortunately, in A phase, which means in C phase we're really going to struggle, because that's also when we don't have a lot of these infantry support tools left. But I think we've just seen that they can't be everywhere. It can be quite critical. Maybe I'm just interpreting a little bit too much into that last game and generalizing those experiences a little bit too much, because, of course, there might be games where this will be perfectly fine in A phase, but looking over it again, I think this is probably the safer approach, because you have a higher chance of winning fast, whereas this means you struggle along a little bit in A phase, which gives you less momentum into B phase, and just makes it overall harder. And just for stalling, I think they should do okay enough in C phase. That would be my guess. And I think this is where I'm going to leave it at. It is not the most favorite way I would build this deck. I would love to have more things in here, especially in the AT tab, but it's just no way of actually putting them in there. And yeah, there's that. So, for those of you watched till here, and everyone else, of course, thank you all for watching. Very soon there should be two things happening. First of all, the first map guide should finally come out. At some point after Christmas, before New Year's, though. This much I can promise. And other than that, there will be a quick announcement, both on the Discord as well on the on YouTube. On the community, you see posts from me where I will just, ask you guys for some feedback. So you can also leave that under this video if you want. I do want to know what you guys want to see more, what you think I should improve on. As always, I may or may not agree with you. I have debated a lot of things about how to do things. Sometimes I do have to agree with what you say, and I like to change things. Sometimes things are just the way I like doing them. I don't really want to change them. But it is always appreciated. Like, even if you tell me something that I've heard countless of times and said no to, it's still valuable feedback. So please, please, please do provide feedback under those comments or under this video. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Enjoy Christmas. Have a good start into 2026. And see you all in the next one. Actually, if you watch the guide before the end of the year, if not, probably next year.